Bobcat fans, welcome back to Dear Montana State, our video series dedicated to conversations with you, the fans. I'm Bethany Cordell with Bobcat Athletics, joined today by Casey Fox, our Senior Associate AD at Montana State. Casey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. All things considered. Excited to get back into the office next week.
Yeah, you and me both. So I always like to start these just by checking in, doing a check-in. I know you're obviously working from home right now. Heidi is. The boys are at home. How's the Fox family holding up?
All things considered, like I said, good. The boys are doing well. Thankfully, we've had a mild spring, so they've been able to get outside and shoot hoops and ride their bikes and just pedal around the neighborhood. My wife works from home, so I think she's ready to get me out of the house and back to the office. I took over her office for about 3 days, and that didn't last very long when this whole thing started, and she kicked me out and made me move to the basement. So I think, getting into a routine, it's fine, but we're doing well. They're getting through their schoolwork, looking forward to summer, obviously, and things opening back up. I know that they're looking forward to hopefully having a baseball season, our boys. Yeah.
So you mentioned how next week we're starting the transitioning to get back in the office. I think we're all very excited about that. But let's take a look back at the last 2 months and really still moving forward because it's not changing overnight. I've had a front row seat to your management style and your leadership, obviously, with our external team. But just talk to us a little bit about what your philosophy is in continuing to motivate a team and keep us focused, moving in the right direction.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm not a micromanager by any means. I think I set, what we want to do, get it through our leadership team, led by Leon, obviously, and what our goals are. And obviously, the last 2 months, it's been different than normal. I mean, this time of year, we'd be out, with events, getting in front of our fans, and connecting the most we can. And since that was taken away, really it was how do we connect and how do we keep our fans engaged without being in person? And so from our standpoint, from an external relations team, it was, pump out as much as we could content-wise through social media, through Facebook, through Instagram, through Twitter, and really just have fun the most that we could, given the circumstances that we're in, and just keep them engaged and do a lot. We asked a lot of you, our video crew, Jack and Garrett, and our media relations crew, Tom and Bill and Andrew, to really think about, what we do and what we can do to connect with our fans, whether it was stories or videos or, interaction, the best that we could, given the resources that we've got, that as well, we're facing budget cuts. And so how do we do it for without spending a lot of money? And really just, again, focusing on our fans, focusing on our student athletes and the stories that compel our fans to want to connect with our student athletes and our coaches and our staff as well. So really that's what it was. And it was said, I basically said, okay, here's what we want to do and run with it. And we far exceeded my expectations. The crew that put together last Friday and then all this week leading up until this weekend, honoring our seniors has been outstanding. Considering a lot of our seniors didn't have a senior day. And just the way that this happened and everything was just cut off. I mean, it went from full bore to nothing in essentially a matter of minutes.
Wow.
Thinking back to Boise and going, okay, we're playing today, to 15 minutes later, we're done. And, I know the toll it took on me emotionally, and I can't imagine what our student athletes went through, those winter sports and spring sports student athletes that just, everything was just taken away, unfortunately, in an instant. And so, but going back, I'm proud of our external relations team, proud of the challenge they've taken on. And I'm excited for our fans as they'll see the end of the year video that we're putting out today. Um, it's an emotional piece, and it was fantastic. And I got to preview it this morning, and it's very emotional, and it just brings a lot, and just tells you how much Bobcat Athletics means to not only me but our fans and people across the state.
No surprise, but I definitely cried when I first viewed that video. So it certainly is emotional, and I'm excited to share it today.
Yeah.
One of the many things that has been different over the last 2 months is our approach to football season tickets. We still are on sale with renewals, with new business. Why don't you talk a little bit about what that process has been the next couple of months or the last couple of months and what it's going to look like moving forward?
Yeah, obviously, as a response to this, especially at the beginning with the uncertainty, and there's still uncertainty, obviously, the first decision we made was to push the deadline back to June 1 to give folks more time. I think as things are stabilizing, we're seeing more renewals start to roll in. Our mindset and my mindset is, until we're told otherwise, we're going September 5th, and we have to have that mindset. And because otherwise, you just get caught up in the uncertainty of everything. Obviously, it's not business as usual. We're taking things day by day. We have to consider, the ramifications of decisions that we're making. But at the same time, we also have to be responsible to our student athletes. And that's really the first and the biggest, goal of ours, each and, everything with everything that we do is how will this impact our student athletes? What's the best process to engage and make sure that we're accomplishing our goal, which is to provide our student athletes with the best possible experience they can while they're here at Montana State and in Bozeman. And so with all that in mind, we're moving forward with renewals. Like I said, we pushed the deadline back to June 1st. We'll evaluate that again, but I think we're pretty comfortable as where it's at right now. As we see the numbers starting to come in, and we have gotten questions, and we realize the uncertainty, and for us, we'll address things as they come about. But obviously, and people have been asking about whether there's going to be any delays or whether there's going to be any cancellations. And right now, the best answer is we don't know. We're preparing for September 5th and for the season to happen as is until we're told otherwise. That's our mindset. When or if, hopefully, neither. If anything happens, then we'll address those, at those times. But we're talking through those scenarios, and we're making sure that our fans know. We sent a letter out to season ticket holders addressing some of those, that if there's any postponement, we'll credit their account. If there's cancellations, then we'll deal with, our default is to credit the account. But if folks want something else, then we'll address those folks, individually as they reach out to us. But, again, I think the best thing that we can do and the best thing that we can prepare for is the season against, kicking off with Gold Rush on September 5th against Long Island.
Well, and you mentioned the letter you sent to the season ticket holders. I think at least one of them ended with you personally talking about how you can't wait to be back in Bobcat Stadium and, 20,000 people in gold for Gold Rush. And I love that thought process. We're just looking forward as best we can. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, I don't think there's any other mindset that we can have that's going to keep you in a positive attitude or anybody. So, it's 4 months away. And we hope that this thing is, under control by then. Obviously our state's doing well right now. We want to continue to do well. And, just excited to kind of get back around people and be back in the office, go to restaurants, obviously doing it in a safe manner. But, we're excited about things, beginning to open back here in Montana.
All right, Casey, last question for you. And I'm only asking this because you usually ask this all the time on our calls. What are you binging right now? What is your show?
Yeah, well, the big one, the one that my wife and I are watching after the kids are in bed, because it is not kid appropriate, but It's an Amazon show called the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
fantastic. It's funny. I think that's what we're looking for right now during this is a lot of lighthearted. I don't exactly want dystopian movies. No, that's hitting too close to home right now.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little dark. I want something lighthearted. I've been recommended a lot of shows. I've never watched Breaking Bad, and people are like, you got to watch it. I'm like, you know what? I really don't want to go down that rabbit hole right now and get into those heavy shows. So we were looking for something light, and it's fantastic. It's hilarious. We love Tony Shalhoub. He was in the show Monk, and I watched that when it was on USA and loved that. And it's just, it's funny. It's just really, a show that we're engaged in. And like now, my oldest son, he's into action movies, and so he read all the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit. So we watched those movies, and
those are a little dark too. I mean, those are
they are. So you got to get something funny after that. Once those are over. But at the same time, the fantasy, sci-fi type thing is, I'm like, okay, that's not going to happen. That's, not here. And it doesn't seem realistic where, who knows, like the Hunger Games and those things. I'm like, I really don't want to get into that right now.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, Casey, that wraps up the questions I have for you. Do you have anything else you want to say to the fans before we wrap up?
Yeah, I just want to tell them, how much they mean to us, how much they mean to our student athletes. And, without them, we don't have, Bobcat Athletics, and it's not the same. I've been fortunate in my 3 years here to be around some great moments. Nothing better than the playoffs last year and in football and when the field house is packed. And, they mean so much to us. And I'm looking forward to the fall and getting back in front, getting back there and getting, back into those feelings of a packed stadium and just the excitement and the atmosphere that they bring is second to none. And I want to let them know, last year during the playoff game, we had an athletic director visiting from another university who was on the NCAA committee. And he just looked around that Friday night game and just said, wow, you guys do it great. And we couldn't have gotten a better compliment from anybody. And, I'm looking forward to it and can't wait to be back around everybody in the fall. I hope everyone gets a chance to enjoy the summer, but I'm looking forward to September 5th, just like everybody else.
Me too. Can't wait. Well, thanks, Casey. Really appreciate the time today. Thanks, Bobcat fans, for tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon. Go Cats!
Go Cats!